Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy weekend to join me. I really appreciate it. To the new subs and new viewers, I see you, I feel you, I appreciate you. I don't really see you, I wouldn't possibly ever feel you, and I do appreciate you though. You feel me? And again with the whole Phil thing, but to be clear, it's just a joke. It's just all a joke, just as my life kind of is, and just kind of as, the whole picture of what goes on in the world is nothing. And again, that's just a whole bunch of dark humor, sort of self, roasting kind of talk, but that's how we get things done here on Vlogs About Nothing. And so, seriously, I want to talk right now about something kind of serious, but don't worry, oh, it's nothing. Because, well, to be honest, and I'm going to include a link in the description below to the video that inspired this topic for right now at this moment, which was last night's or this morning's episode of the Y Files. Shout out to AJ and Hecklefish, for posting a video at 8 o'clock this morning, Mountain Standard Time, that was then subsequently watched, over 100,000 times in just a few hours, and to the delight of many. AJ, you said don't stay awake because you were editing the video, and thousands of us stayed awake and waited for the video. I personally fell asleep and woke up to the notification of the video being posted, so there you go. I want to elaborate on how the Cold War was essentially a shakedown from the CIA, the federal government, and conspired against and or towards all of us, right? Meaning United States citizens, meaning people on our territory, meaning that our own team did our own team in real bad. Now, to be more specific, right, the Cold War is an era of which is defined by Soviet communists, right, versus capitalists. It sounds silly. I mean, seriously, old folks out there who lived during this time where you all had to practice drills falling down underneath your desks to avoid radiation fallout. What a silly concept. I mean, I've been, with all due respect, I've been talking about in my peer group about nuclear proliferation for long before Obama started talking and passing bills that made it so the United States decreased their nuclear arsenal. But to say that for decades there was some sort of voodoo kind of thing going on between two countries, and the threat of nuclear war is pretty childish, honestly, like there's no other way to say that. And again, that might ruffle some feathers out up there, but that's okay because what you believed in wasn't the truth. And don't be like all hurt about it. You aren't the only one that didn't think things through. You as well as millions of other people have made it so that the world is in the current shape that it's in. And I know that, you might say that you didn't, or that you weren't a part of that, but the fact is that policy was made and or voted by people in elected office that held power to make it so that the world is the way that it is, and that there are organizations that exist like the CIA who spy on our own people out of no other interest than saying national security. You understand? And for a long time, and for, publicly, I've said that there are no privacy laws in this country, in the world, in the modern world. There's no such thing as privacy. That it's just not a thing. If you own a cell phone, they know everything. And I laugh because it's so weird to think anything else. I mean, I understand, again, old folks out there, 30 years ago, it was kind of, something you might want to throw a person in an asylum for, even talking about, oh, they're listening, they're watching. How scary is it? They are listening and they are watching, and it's not even anything other than our own government. And so the Cold War, right? And I brought up the Y files and the inspiration for the video and so forth because it was the first time that I had ever seen it publicly acknowledged that it was a sham, that the whole thing was just a ruse to get the House and Senate to continue to provide funding for an intelligence service that has now turned into the primary black shadow, dark government, sort of most influential thing you've never heard of to ever impact your life place. You know? And again, this isn't hearsay. This isn't conspiracy. This isn't, a bunch of people in straitjackets talking about things they think are happening within the government. The CIA is a part of the government. It's funded by the government. Thereby, it's funded by us. You watching this video, me, guy who is unemployed and works, as an aspiring actor to hopefully get somewhere kind of in a career way, but pays taxes, reports and files every year, have been doing so faithfully and with an abject sort of happiness in terms of like, I've never ever once ever publicly or privately denounced taxation. I think taxation is something that's needed to fund what otherwise everyone else wouldn't want to fund because most people are greedy. Now, that's no slight or bag on you all out there or me because I've acknowledged even my own greed and or selfishness at times, you feel me? And there's certain parts about that, but money is kind of a tricky thing and when people work for it, and they feel a kind of way about that piece of paper or whatever it is that they feel, then it becomes a different kind of a talk, I think, with most people. And so I think that the Cold War was a bunch of garbage. And honestly, getting large groups of people to fear other large groups of people for no reason other than getting more money to make sure that you can control your own people is not only unjustifiably wrong in every sort of a way, it's not only unethical, but it's like some straight up evil garbage. You know what I mean? These are the people who are supposed to be looking out for us. These are the people who are supposed to have our best interests at heart. And yet, time after time, they've continued to show that their best interests outweigh our best interests. And again, that's not indicative and that is not symbolic of a democratic republic in any kind of a way. So I leave you with that. I know it's kind of tough to talk about, and if you're a little bit older than me, and I'm old, I say this all the time. I'm an old guy, blame's on you, bucko. The ball's in your court. I mean, I've had conversations now with younger people and younger generations about how millennials are now a part of this overlapping problem. Well, I don't want to be a part of the problem, and I want to talk about ways we can fix the problem so that I'm not included in this conversation, because it's a conversation that I feel is perpetual. It's a blame game, and it's so symbolic of being a Western adult and trying to place blame on everything else but yourself. Now, that speaks volumes about how our country functions, right? Because we can all blame the government for all of the terrible things that they do, and boy, we should. We should blame them. But that does not give us the right to act like terrible people or vindictive kinds of, characters in our own lives when, in fact, we're all in this together. We're all on the same team, ladies and gentlemen, and that's all I'm saying. The Cold War was garbage. And I'm sad to see and say that we lost a president, his brother, and, decades of what otherwise could have been diplomatic and peaceful progress. And instead, you end up with a bankrupt Soviet nation. You end up with a militarized governmental, coup taken over democratic republic, right? And all for what? so that, some dude can sit behind his desk in Albuquerque, New Mexico, complaining about how the Cold War was garbage. I guess I just ran down the last 60 years. So I hope that you guys have a lovely evening. You know me, you know my humor. It's just fun. Love poking the bear. And in this case, I guess it's, Uncle Sam loosely. I love you, Uncle Sam. Don't take it personal. You feel me? I'm on your team. I understand that. But I feel like you can do better. You can be better. You must be better. So, thanks for your time, everyone. I hope that you guys have a lovely evening. And until I see you next time, thank you very much. Bye.